Welcome to the inaugural edition of Page 9, where we'll be delving into our 8-page print edition, going beyond the headlines to bring you the story behind the story. Every week we'll be looking into one of our freshest, most impactful stories of the week, and today we're going to chat with Colleen Murphy, a Hatchet news editor who's been racking up a lot of front page coverage lately, I must say. Colleen's out with a story this week looking into the university's efforts to engage alumni and hopefully draw donations from both recent alumni and not so recent alumni as well. Alumni Weekend's coming up at the end of the week, and that comes just a few months after GW launched a huge, massive fundraising campaign to raise $1 billion. So it seems like the push to get alumni more involved for many starts with this weekend. How do you think Alumni Weekend this year is going to be different from Alumni Weekend 2013?
Sure, so Alumni Weekend is always a good chance for the university to bring back alumni and remind them of what they liked about GW and kind of make them feel nostalgic for college again. But something they're doing this year is taking alumni on a tour called the Making History Tour, which is named after the campaign.
Right, the Making History campaign, yes. Very famous.
And they'll take alumni through all of their most recent construction projects like Gelman Library and the GW Museum to show alumni where their donations can help and how they can support the university's development.
So it's about a little bit more than bringing it back to those good old college days, a little bit of nostalgia reminiscing, but also kind of looking forward, I guess, at what the university is doing and maybe even what kind of role they can play in making those things happen?
Yeah, definitely. So the strategy behind Alumni Weekend is always to bring alumni back to campus, make them feel nostalgic, then send them home, so hopefully they'll tell their friends and family about all the great things that are happening, and then more and more people can donate to the campaign.
Right, and you interviewed Marty Baum. He was kind of like at the top of your story there. He's an active alumni who said he started giving more once he got more involved. That seems to kind of echo the thinking, I guess, and maybe that's why you put it at the top of the story, but it seems to echo the thinking of GW's fundraising office going into Alumni Weekend. That's kind of the way that they're thinking, is the more involved an alumni gets, the more connected they feel to the university, the more they're going to donate.
Definitely. Marty sort of perfectly fits that formula. He graduated from GW in the 1980s. As he had kids, he started to remember what GW was like and thought about sending them here. Now he's on the Alumni Association. He goes to college fairs every fall. So he's kind of the ideal, right. The ideal alumni.
The picture-perfect guy who Mike Morsberger, the head of the fundraising office at GW, kind of envisions, right?
And he gives consistently.
Over the weekend, so alumni, they're going to, as you said, they're going to be taking this campus tour, highlighting major construction projects, and all of this goes towards GW's goal of raising $1 billion. But it seems like they're trying to change a little bit of the history in terms of how many alumni at GW give. I know in your story you mentioned that only 10% of alumni at GW actually give to the university, I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, I know, we're a politically active campus. You'd think that activism might translate elsewhere, and that's actually much less than at other universities, right?
Right, yeah, that 10% give rate for alumni is a lot lower than most of GW's peer schools. Most of them have alumni who give in the 20-25% range. And talking to a lot of members on the Alumni Association, it seems like the university is really trying to focus on this group now more than before.
So, a little bit of a change here where alums seem to be bearing a little bit more of the burden of the fundraising, right?
Yeah, and the idea behind that is that when you go and talk to your friends or people you went to college with, they're going to be a lot more willing to give money if you're making that personal connection with them, and the Alumni Association really feels like that's something that they can help out with and go back and talk to people themselves, as opposed to just telling people to check their emails or go look at what GW's mailed them.
Right, and we had another story this week also where it was saying that if GW ups its endowment, then we might get a little bit of a bump in the US News and World College ranking, so people might be happy if that can happen. But I have one last question for you, Colleen, and this is $1 billion. What would you do with $1 billion if you had the opportunity to use it at GW or elsewhere?
I would go to Europe, just travel.
Go to Europe, so not putting it towards the use of GW.
I would donate to the campaign, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. Well, how about you guys tell us what the best use of $1 billion would be, how you would spend $1 billion if you could raise that amount of money. That's it for us this week. This is Page 9, and we'll see you next week.